Riverside Townhouses versus Heather Hooley. This is filed as a demand for non-payment of rent case, Ms. Hooley. It seems that we've been through this before recently, but the law requires that I advise you of your rights as a tenant in a landlord-tenant case. You have the right to hire an attorney if you cannot pay for one. You may see if legal aid can represent you or seek other legal representation. You have a right to have the case heard here in St. Joseph County where the property is located. You have a right to demand a jury trial. If you want a jury trial, you must tell the court at this first appearance or make the demand in writing within 5 days filing the jury demand form, and be prepared to pay the $50 jury demand fee unless the court waives it for your inability to pay it. If your landlord has asked you to be evicted from a residential property because you haven't paid rent, you may be able to get assistance from the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, a local coordinated entry agency, a housing assessment and resource agency, federal help for homeless veterans if you are a veteran. And that information should have come with the original court packet that was sent to you with the summons and complaint. You may be able to reach an agreement with the landlord by going through mediation. If both parties are interested, the court can help set that up. Or if you can resolve the case with a mutual agreement, the case could be subject to a conditional order of dismissal, which would be prepared by the attorney. All right, rent is $868 per month, which seems like that must be market rate. I'm not sure if that's accurate. Ms. Kalmbach, this is market rate.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Haddad, what's the current arrearage?
Your Honor, I'm showing rent to retain of $1,060. Attorney fees and costs of $185.80 for a total redemptive amount of $1,245.80.
All right, Ms. Hooley, what's your response?
I'm just saying that I did give him 700, and that was towards August rent, and I owe 194 towards August plus 868. So I'm agreeing with them that I owe about 1,068 or 1,060. And I just asked if they would work with me, and I will try to get this paid within the next 3 weeks.
All right, well, we can maybe make that happen. The law requires that I adjourn this matter at least 7 days, which takes us to next Friday. That would be, next Monday, September 15th. We're quite full. I think I can set this for 2:15. I don't think I have any other Riverside cases, but can you make that work, or someone from your firm, Ms. Haddad?
Yes, Your Honor. We can make that work.
All right. Now, Ms. Hooley, I think I said we went through this before. That adjourns at 7 days. You'd get 10 additional days, which would take it to September 25th to allow you to pay the rent or be subject to being evicted. And that gets us near the end of the month. So my suggestion is always that you stay in contact with your manager, let her know what your intentions are. The fact that you just paid 700 shows good faith on your part. And I think you'd like to keep your tenancy. All right, so that'll give us a week. And then another 10 days beyond that. So we'll take a look at this next Monday at 2:15. All right, do you have any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right, you're good to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Title of this case is Glen Oaks Community College versus Jessie Racheloski. She's from Quincy and she's here by Zoom. Matthew Kuipers is here. He's all over the place, but here he's appearing on behalf of the Velo Law Office in Grand Rapids, who represents Glen Oaks. We had a pretrial set for this for August 11th, and Lee Meldy appeared, but Ms. Racheloski did not. And I think she may have been confused because she got two dates. She got a pretrial date and a summary disposition date. So today is the date for the hearing on the motion for summary disposition. So we simply continued the matter until today. And she is here. And I think sometimes when people get two notices, they think the second one swallows up the first one. So that's not an ideal way for us to do it. Anyway, good afternoon. Can you hear me? Ms.
Yes, Judge.
Racheloski? All right. Uh, Trying to find my face sheet. Just go to the complaint. This is a complaint for $1,454 plus, I guess, cost, interest, and attorney fees for some issues regarding tuition and costs at Glen Oaks Community College. Ms. Racheloski, they filed what's called a motion for summary disposition, which kind of explains itself, but it is complicated. They filed this lawsuit back in February. It was served on you sometime in the spring, and you filed a written letter on May 7th, which we accepted as an answer. You're claiming that you were given some sort of a disability because you had some significant health issues. They filed this motion contending that that is not a valid defense and that the money is due and owing. Mr. Kuipers, do you wish to speak to your motion any further?
Your Honor, I'm happy to elaborate further if required. However, the motion pretty much speaks for itself. It's simply an action for past due tuition. The documents attached to the exhibit lay out the responsibility by the defendant to pay the tuition, and I believe the defendant's answer essentially admits that he would owe this, just claimed a hardship, inability to pay. I don't really see any genuine issue material fact here, and I would request that the judgment be granted for MCR 2.116C9C10. I'd further elaborate that Exhibit A to the motion is a request to admit that were sent out, looks like May 22nd to date. There's been no response, so those would be deemed admitted under the court rule. So for that reason as well, there's no real issue of material fact here.
Well, she sort of contends that they told her they were going to excuse it. It isn't quite clear. I had a medical emergency. My understanding, if it happened earlier, I would not have been charged. So the period passed for.
Right, and that was laid out on the motion. I believe the drop period ended September 10th, 2021. That was Exhibit 2. And there was notices provided to the defendant. Those were attached as Exhibits 3 about the drop date. And I believe the defendant did not drop the classes, or at least the defendant attended till October 27th. There is evidence of that attached as Exhibit 5. So.
Ms. Racheloski, is there anything you'd like to say?
Yes, please.
Go ahead.
So I guess I'm just confused in general because I went to sign up for classes and they told me that I couldn't until this loan was paid. And when I talked to somebody at the college, they told me if I gave them the evidence of me dying, having a heart surgery, and being diagnosed with my autoimmune condition, that they were going to forgive the loan. I did all of that. I turned all of that in, and then I have not heard from them again until I got the notice for all of this stuff that's happening now. So I guess that's kind of where my confusion is, because to my understanding, it was going to be forgiven if I had turned in all that evidence.
Well, who is they that you talked to?
It was the receptionist for the dean of admissions at Glen Oaks. I don't remember her name. I have a really hard time with memory due to, I mean, I died 3 times, so I don't remember her name, unfortunately.
Well, apparently they didn't do that. He set that out in the brief. I'm not sure whether that person even had the authority to forgive such a debt. And no one disbelieves that you had these medical issues. The drop date was September 10th, and you attended into October. So at that point, the tuition had not been paid. You attended in October. And frankly, it seems like they ought to have a policy that if you had a serious medical emergency during the semester and were unable to attend to complete the class, they'd either give you an incomplete or something. But apparently that's not the case. So you've tried to re-register at Glen Oaks. They won't let you re-register unless you pay this.
Correct. I had planned on finishing my practicum and then continuing with my nursing degree. However, I did not, I guess that's why I was never notified that it wasn't forgiven, I suppose, because I never went through with my plan. I had just gotten diagnosed with my autoimmune disease, and they put me on a medication where I was literally projectile vomiting without any warning for 8 months because of this medicine and my body getting used to it and whatnot. So I was not comfortable going anywhere, to be honest, while that was happening. So I just never attempted to re-register.
Well, let's calculate the amount.
I have the totals, Your Honor. It's 1,454 is the complained for amount, filing and service costs, or filing and service of 160, statutory attorney fee of 75. So the total I have is $1,689 even.
All right, Ms. Racheloski, fortunately, if you don't have any money, it's not fortunate, but this isn't huge. This is the kind of debt that could be repaid on some sort of monthly installment payment. I had people this morning with $19,000 worth of debt, $14,000 worth of debt at 25.5%, 29.5% interest rate. But it just made a finding that they've met their burden of proof for a judgment under the summary disposition rule, which is 2.116 C9 and C10. That doesn't mean a lot to you as a layperson, but it is in the brief. What it means is there is no material issue of fact. You've certainly stated hardship, but it's not a legal defense. So they may still be able to work with you. Maybe they've got some sort of hardship or compassion thing at the school. But by the actual letter of the contract, you'd started the class. I think maybe they thought at some point you'd reapply and maybe they'd excuse it. You never reapplied. They didn't excuse it. They turned it over for collections. And what someone verbally told you over the top of a desk doesn't amount to a hard and fast commitment by the school. So, Mr. Kuipers, I would ask that you would email me a summary disposition judgment.
Will do, Your Honor.
Are you still on Broughton Street in Quincy?
Yes, I am.
All right. Now, what I would suggest you do, I would perhaps continue to try to press your case with the school, take it to a higher level on a receptionist at a desk. But I would also encourage you to try to set up a payment plan, even if it's $25 a month, something to make a dent on this debt. Maybe if you get a lump sum disability, you could use some of that to pay this off. Sounds like you've got many issues, and We've had a lot of it all day today with people just trying to get by. And you're doing the best you can. All right, I find that you owe $1,554 as the damages, costs of $160 and the statutory attorney fee of $75 for a total of $1,689. All right, do you have any questions?
I guess my only question is how would I set up that payment plan?
I can put you in a breakout room right now with Mr. Kuipers to discuss that if you'd like to.
Yes, please.
All right. You all set?
Yeah, Your Honor, we haven't come to a payment arrangement. I took some information down. I believe the defendant actually left, but I figured I'd let the court know. My hope is something will get worked out. I just can't agree to it right now.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
It's entitled Meadow Lane versus Rita Henline. We went through this back in 2024. Ms. Henline owns her own trailer. She was substantially behind in lot rent and somehow it was reconciled. Now we're in 2025 and we're in the same circumstance. Through August, the lot rent was $6,269.33 in arrears. We now have additional late fees and lot rent fees. What's the current arrearage?
The current amount, including sewer, water, late fees, lot rent, is service of process. All of those numbers total $9,024.70.
All right. Now, we can't just throw the spaghetti at the wall and see if it'll stick. We got to break it down. How much is lot rent?
$378.
The total amount, let's see, where did we start with lot rent? Then I'll just re-add them for the last few months. Where were we in June? Because I am happy as a clam to get that number correct. Let me find the complaint. Summons. Complaint.
$7,190.96. Sorry, that's not correct. $7,265.96.
What is that number?
7,000 in
From when?
June.
No, the complaint that we have is rent alone for June was $6,010.14 for rent, nothing else.
So I need to add August, July.
So
Which is
601. Let me mark this down because otherwise I'll foul it up. 14. And then how much is it a month?
$378.
And so we have July, August, and September times 378. That's 2. 11, 34, 14, 4, 4, 1, 7. I have, Your Honor, for rent alone, $7,144.14.
All right. Then how much are utilities?
She was not charged utilities in May, June, July, or August. So no utilities.
No additional utilities.
$25 a month per month to month.
There was an arrearage on in June of $1,255.82. I think after that, right?
Correct.
But that's no utilities afterwards are being charged.
All right. And how much are the late fees?
$50 a month
No, is that right? $50? Wow.
Actually, the $50 a month late fees was included in the $1255.82. So
This shouldn't be this hard. This should
it
be
always,
in
once,
advance.
this
Just give
form
them a
is-
lump sum of how much they owe when they have a hard time determining what it is. Needs to be broken down into rent, utilities, and late fees. And one company was trying to charge $100 a month late fee, which I disallowed. I'm not gonna allow a $50 late fee on a lot. I'm not sure what's in the lease. Let's take a look. Anyway, let's see what's in the lease. Late charges, $50 per month. All right, so your contention is the amount due is $9,024.70.
correct. That includes the filing fees, attorney's fees,
No,
all
gotta,
related,
you
everything.
keep making my job harder than it has to be.
I would
Court
like
costs
to make
are-
it simpler.
Let's figure out court costs. 130 is the filing fee. The service fee is $39.44. And the attorney fee is $75. Equals $239.44. So let's add those three numbers up. 7144.14 plus 125582 plus 239.44 equals, that's not right, 7144.14 plus 125582 plus 239.44 equals, I don't get your number. I get 8,639.40.
My client says fine.
All
So
right,
no dispute on that number, Your Honor.
all right. Now, as a practical matter, Ms. Henline isn't gonna be able to pay this. Anyway, Ms. Henline, what's your position?
Well, after many months, I finally got my Social Security check as of Saturday. And I applied back in December. And it just went on and on and on because they had filled out the wrong form, or I had filled out the wrong form for disability and didn't realize it. So I had to redo it, and I finally got my check. And my check amount for the month is $2,155. No change. And I'm willing to try to get this paid down, but I don't know if they'll agree to that.
All right, well, let's talk about that. They have 56 days from the day to ask for the writ of eviction and 56 more days before they serve it. That's 112 days that they could agree to try to work with you to get caught up with this rent. As we discussed, this gives them the right to the lot, not anything in your trailer. So I'm not even frankly sure whether they can do it this way. As I indicated, there's a substantial argument that the law doesn't allow for non-payment of rent for a mobile home lot. It has to be done pursuant to the just cause termination. But that doesn't give the tenant the right to redeem the property. So I've been allowing it to allow the defendant to try to pay to get caught up. Another judge wrote a very reasoned opinion in another county that said you can't do it at all. The question is still unresolved, needs to be resolved by a court rule, a statute, or a case. Maybe one of these cases will get appealed, but no one's going to appeal this because it's to the benefit of the defendant and the landlord. Mr. LeBray, I would ask if you would email me a judgment. I don't have one.
I would be delighted.
All right, it's
I'm
at
sorry.
stjoseph.county.mi.gov.
Would you give me that again, please?
All right, 3B civil at
3.
stjosephcounty.mi.gov. It's on the notice. It's on the front page of the notice of hearing. Anyway, it's very helpful to have judgment information regarding the money and the judgment, but we're limping along here. All right, Ms. Henline. Maybe they will agree to work with you to try to get caught up on this arrearage. But they don't have to. By the letter of the law, they can move your trailer within 10 days. Under the other statute, you would have 90 days to move or sell the mobile home. This one just gives them the right to the lot. And as a practical matter, this mobile home probably can't be moved. So it's in everybody's interest to try to work out some sort of repayment. But they don't have to. They have 56 days from today to ask for the writ of eviction and 56 days to serve it. So let's go through those numbers again. Rent through September is $7,144.14. Late fees and utilities are $1,255.82. And the court costs are $239.44. Let me add that up again. 7144.14 plus 125582 plus 239.44 is $8,639.40. That's the total. It's due within 10 days from today, which is September 18th. Gives them the right to the lot. Now, all utilities back on? Ms. Henley?
No. I have to, no, I have to pay the gas and I don't have water, so.
You can't do that. The city's gonna come in and condemn your trailer. You can't live there with no gas, no electricity, and no water.
Oh, I have
You have
electricity.
Oh, all right. You can't live there with no water.
Right.
What do you need to do to get water?
Pay the bill, I imagine. But it's
Yes,
all wrapped up now in the lot rent. So you have to pay online.
Well, you're
And
gonna need to resolve that. Because if you don't have water within 10 days, I suggest they proceed with removing your trailer. The city's gonna condemn this. You
Well,
can't live.
they actually,
Go ahead.
apparently they own the water meters or whatever, and they charge us a flat rate of like, I don't know, $112, and then they add the amount you've used. So it's really costs a lot to have water because they've charged us so much more than water and sewer. They charge an extra $100 and some, which I don't have in front of me right now.
Three Rivers water is very expensive. So there's $112 fee from the park before the city
Yeah,
water.
something like that. Mm-hmm.
Have you got a private company managing your water system?
Yes, we did. We
Stop,
had,
stop,
it was
stop.
called the. Yes, we did.
All right. What was, which company is that?
It was called Utilities
Oh,
Company.
oh boy. I've had a spate of recent problem.
It was the third,
Yes, it's a third party, but it's $112 a month. Holy smokes, Three River City Water is expensive enough. You own your own trailer. Between late fees, lot rent and utilities, your rent is still pretty significant. I didn't realize they were charging $112 a month on top of the city utility.
yeah,
fees.
oh, yeah.
I don't know if
Wait,
the other,
yeah, so,
Your Honor, if it please the court, our ledgers show an amount of $84.62 per month for the water, not this 112 number figure.
right, eighty-four
no, they
sixty,
charged it
stop.
twice a month, they charged it.
Well, all this inures to the disadvantage of, instead of the city coming reading in every meter on every trailer, they just send water directly to the park. Then the park pays a private company to monitor the water usage. At least you guys have city sewer. Many of our parks, the rural parks, don't have septic service. I've been struggling with two of them right now where the septic is in bad shape. Ms. Henline, have you ever considered just trying to get an apartment somewhere?
No, you know, I've lived here more than half of my life. And I've had
Yes.
trouble. And right now, my doctor, I can't even go anywhere without a wheelchair or my oxygen. And I just have everything I ever had, you know, here. And it's not laying around, it's put away, but I've had trouble without having any money to get anyone to help me clean
Yes, so you
my
haven't,
yard
this goes
where
with
it
our
needs
whole
to be
daily theme
better.
there of people struggling, no money, you have your $9,000 behind in lot rent and utilities. You were 8,000 last year, you finally got your social security, maybe you can start paying on it. The park really doesn't want to move your mobile home, A, because there isn't anywhere to move it to, and B, it's very expensive to move it. But under the law, they could come and have a moving company hook up to the front end of your trailer and pull it out of there.
I don't think they're gonna do that.
Well,
I
the
think they'd
wheels
like to
might
pull
come
me
off
out of here.
that. Yeah, but that's what they've asked for. The other one, if they'd done it, would be a just cause termination, where you would have 10 days to vacate and 90 days to move or sell the mobile home. But they didn't do it that way. They did it this way. And then if you don't move it, they can move it. But so those are the numbers that I gave you. You're gonna need to work with management to try to see if you can resolve this, but I didn't realize that at Meadow Lane, there was an additional monthly water fee. Our other premises, the apartments, and housing rentals, the Three Rivers Water is expensive. All right, Lois, the manager, is here and she's on top of this. She's regional manager. I'm not sure if they've got an on-site manager now, but it's in everybody's interest to try to resolve this. Mr. LeBray, you have anything to add? I guess she's gone, so All right, well, let's do our next one.
This. And this. And this. And this.
Hopefully something, maybe she can get caught up with, and maybe she got a lump sum payment, which gave her some additional money. The next one is Meadow Lane versus Rita. Oh, that was Rita headline. It's mixed up. This headline is
You
bad.
got disconnected.
All right.
Hello?
Yes. Is there anything
Yeah.
else you wish to say?
Well, I just wanted to give you the correct numbers on how they bill for the water.
I can't hear you, Miss Henline. I'm not getting a very good signal. So I got the number, you got the number. You need to work with your manager to see what you can do. But theoretically, 10 days from now, they would have the right to remove your trailer. But they have 56 days from today to ask for the writ of eviction and another 56 days to serve it. So that does give some wiggle room, but it's important you stay in contact with the management. All right, let's do our next one. Meadow Lane versus Johnson. And this is file number 251513LT. In this case, we learned again, there were substantial arrearages. Defendant was not present and has actually moved out 3 months ago and expected a default. What's the status here?
No change from when we were here before, Your Honor. By my knowledge, nobody has heard from them. We don't have a forwarding address. And simply another month of unpaid rent has rolled through.
All right, well, let's add that up. So lot rent here is 373 plus something.
We had the total rent due in June of 45, 47, 47.
All right, well, now we're in September.
Yep, so we've got 3 months thereafter.
Well,
Yeah,
last month we determined through August that the rent was 5,690.21 plus water and sewer, which brought us to 6,642 plus costs brought us to 6,717. So we need to add 3,373.
No water or sewer extra since they abandoned.
5,690 plus 373 equals $6,063.21. All right, then 6642. This is like a treasure hunt every time. 6642.35 minus 5690. We had sewer and water at 952.14. And we had the court costs. I don't have the face sheet on this. I had to read a headline printed on it twice. So I don't know how much the utilities, I guess I can figure that out. 6717.65 minus 6642. That's not right. Yeah, I don't, how much was the service fee?
That's exactly what I was looking for.
Well, I usually have it on the face sheet and I can easily calculate it, but they printed Rita Henline's face sheet on here by mistake. So I had to read a headline twice. I didn't have Johnson.
It's John for Johnson. Not necessarily. Filing fees, yeah, it'd be different depending on the amount. So I am looking. This was done by attachments. They even send it to me. I don't see where they sent me the proof of service on this thing.
It was served by attachment by Sergeant Morse, 3944. $75 statutory attorney fee. Let's see if I can figure out the filing fee. It's
I
usually,
have a
as I
print
said,
receipt for that, and I've got $130 here.
all right, that sounds right. All right, so we got 130, 130 plus 3944 plus 75 equals 244.44. All right, so we've got rent of 6,063.21 through September.
I'm sorry,
We got-
6,000.
6321. Utilities are 952.14. And court costs are 244.44. Set that up. $7,259.86. That took us almost 40 minutes. It should have taken about 12. We made it a lot harder than it had to be. Anyway, this gives you the right to possession of the lot on or after 10 days from today. So rent is 6,063.21. Utilities are 952.14. Court costs are 244.44. And
I'm sorry, I thought you had said a couple of minutes ago it was 63.21 for rent. What was the other number you just gave, Your Honor?
6,063.21 for rent. Utilities are 952.14.
Got it.
Court costs are 244.44. For a total of 7,259. I found that.
Oh, you got?
Oh, it's actually, there's also another 26. Oh, hell. What I got is I got two Rita Henlines. I had Rita Henline on Travis Johnson. I got it twice. So I didn't have one for Travis Johnson. But there's also Ashley Johnson, who's another occupant. And lo and behold, there was another $26 to serve her. So our court costs are $244.44 plus, boy, this is a lot harder. It had to be $26. Run out of ink. 244.44 plus 26 for service of the other party is 270.44. So costs are 270.44. So let's try that again. 6063.21 in rent through September. 952.14 in utilities. And 270.44 in costs equals 7,285.79. And this gives you possession of the lot within 10 days. So you're gonna have to get somebody to move it. And I don't know where you move it to or what you do with it, but the way this was filed, it's a non-payment of rent on the lot. So I'll give you the relief you request by default. And we'll hope for the best. So same thing, Mr. LeBray, if you would email me a judgment.
I will do so, Your Honor. It may,
All right.
I've got to be in Ann Arbor for some medical stuff, so it'll be a couple of days before I can get those mailed to you. Just so that you know there'll be a slight delay.
That's fine. We'll wait for them.
Appreciate
All
it.
right.
Thank you.
All right, we managed to struggle our way through it. Let's see what happens. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're here in a small claims proceeding. My name is Judge Middleton. This is the court that I am allowed to use. Small claims is a separate division of the 3B District Court Civil Division. In small claims, you're only allowed to sue for up to $7,000. Neither party is allowed to have an attorney. There's no formal record being made in small claims court. And there is no appeal from small claims. Any decision made here is final. If either party has a desire to have a formal record or right to appeal or counsel or sue for more than $7,000, they can ask me to remove this matter to the general division of the court where the rules of evidence and procedure will all apply. You could have counsel. Mr. Rhodes, are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
Mr. Cawthorn, are you ready to proceed?
Yes.
How am I saying it right? Is it Cawthorn?
Cawthorn.
Cawthorn. All right. Would you both please raise your right hand? Will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief.
Yes.
Yes. All right. This is a claim for $3,929.26. It has to do with a rental. Let me get back to the complaint. It's a bit vague, Mr. Cawthorn, but what he claims is unpaid rent, unpaid electric bill, time spent to make house livable. All right, Mr. Rhodes, how did you come up with that figure of 3,000?
He had 2 months of unpaid rent. He had 2 months of unpaid rent, which is $900 a month.
All right, let's slow down.
Yep.
Is it in the file?
Yeah, it's the second page of the lease agreement, which would have been 220.
Okay, but I mean, is your breakdown in the file somewhere?
No, it is not.
All right, then I didn't miss it. Okay, so $900 per month times 2 is $1,800. All right, what else?
Then I have the electric bill statements with the last payment received on December 31st of 2024. And that by the time he was vacated the premises, bill was left at $1,350 and it was canceled. So upon getting the electric reactivated, I have a receipt of $459 to pay the deposit to get the electric turned back on the property.
Those bills are in there. So what's the total of utilities?
That would be $1,809.26.
All right, so let's add those two up. 1,800 plus 1,809.26 is 3,609.26. Now, was there a security deposit?
Was not.
Now, you also said you had difficulty getting the property back into shape. So right now we're about 300 some dollars off. What are your additional costs?
So, I had 2 trips to the dump at, $40 a trip. And then I based it off of 8 hours of cleaning the house at $30 an hour for my time to make it relivable.
That's 240. So that's 360. All right, so if we add that all up, plus 360, we get your figure of 3,969.26. So Mr. Cawthorn, let's break this down. Some of these are easy and some are a little less easy. He says you owe 2 months rent at $1,800. What's your response to that?
I don't owe him a dime, honestly, in my opinion.
All right, why
Um,
not?
Well, since November of 2024, I had no consistent running water. He was informed. I had no flushing toilet, no shower for me and my girlfriend to take a shower in because he prioritized the company we work at over his tenants and kept saying he was going to come out there and fix it. And every time he didn't. When the power skyrocketed at that point because the pipes were frozen due to his lack of taking care of the situation. And so he came out there with an electric / propane heater, stuck it under my house and ran my power bill up. Also put a space heater in my shed, the size of a doghouse, trying to unfreeze them pipes. So in January of 2025, I told him I was not going to pay those 2 months of rent unless he came in and fixed my property. Because upon me moving into that property 2 years ago, before that, he told me he was in the middle of remodeling the property and he would finish it. But during that time,
where is
do
this
not
property?
interrupt me, Mr. Rhodes.
That was me.
Oh.
Where is the property?
It is on it's in Three Rivers. It's I don't remember.
I was looking for
5887.
the lease. I'm trying to figure out where this rental was.
It was it's at 58874 Ash Road.
58874. Is it a trailer or a house?
It's a house. It's a 1-bedroom cabin pretty much on the river that Mr. Rhodes bought from the neighbor.
All right, I'm looking for the lease.
And then I could also tell you that, okay, that lease is null and void because we had a verbal lease the year before, 3 months prior.
I have a lease. So was there a lease?
In December of that previous year, before our Christmas break of 2024, we sat in his truck and agreed upon that he was going to come back and finish the remodel, and that we agreed that the lease was good for the next year. It was clearly stated by Mr. Rhodes, this lease is good for the next year.
All right, well,
As long as I say
somewhere a written lease?
no, it was done in his truck.
Is a
The
verbal
only,
lease.
yes,
All right, what was the monthly rent?
900. I refused to pay those 2 months of rent because I had no running water, no flushing toilet, and I had pretty much crap in my toilet, and I had a natural gas leaking into my place because he came into the house and pulled the pilot valve off and kept promising for a month that he was going to come out there and replace my stove, and didn't do it till after I'd already told him I was moving out.
Here it is, 58874 Ash Road. All right, this property couldn't be rented if it was in the city of Three Rivers. It wouldn't pass inspection, and this is very common. We have, Mr. Codron, you're making me dizzy. If you
Oh,
land
sorry.
in one spot, you're at work,
Yes.
and where do you work?
Same JRS with Mr. Rhodes.
What's
I'm
the
gonna
name of
find a
it?
chair now. Jay Rettenmeyer, the mysterious
Oh.
German company you like to say.
Yes, that's mysterious, all right. Okay. So there's no written lease. And what was the deal with utilities?
The reason why I did not pay the utilities is because I felt like it fell on Mr. Rhodes for putting the electric salamander under my house, knowing there was a running leak straight out the hot water heater that was cycling 24/7. And he failed to do his job as a landlord and come fix the issues that he knew well enough about.
All right, so we got no lease, so we're on shaky ground right off the bat. No security deposit. There's something called the basic covenant of habitability, which he has to provide a premises that is habitable. If this premise was in the city of Three Rivers, they wouldn't have approved it for rental. And if the township knew there was no running water in there, they would have condemned it. How long did you have no running water?
Since right before Thanksgiving. He'd been out there like 3 times trying to fix it. He put in a new well pump. The well pump immediately broke. I ended up, after the power got turned off, I ended up having to buy myself a generator and all them things.
All right, well, again, how long were you without running water?
3 months before I moved out.
All right, so November, December, and January. When did you move out?
I moved out in, no, I moved out in April. I'd been
April.
dealing with this since November.
So you had no running water from November to April?
He would come in, fix it for 1 week, and then it would break again from November to January. And then that's when I looked at him and I said, hey, either fix it or you're not getting rent, because that is my right as a tenant to refuse rent until my property is fixed.
Well, there's a way to do it. So November and January, so then you were there February.
March, and I left at the beginning of April, the 1st.
So did you pay any rent in February and March?
No, he got his last check in January.
So you didn't pay, you paid December and January's rent?
I'm pretty sure I only missed 2 payments altogether, and it was the last 2 months I was there.
All right, and the utilities do seem quite high. Now, once it got disconnected, you had to pay to get it reconnected, but the utilities are $1,350 from December 31 of 21 till I'm not sure when, 24 till I'm not sure when. That's pretty high. What was the story on the utilities, Mr. Rhodes?
All right, so as Mr. Cochran explained, there was a hot water leak that I was not aware of the climbing of the electric bill. And so by the time I found out about it, he had messaged me saying that it was unlawful to turn the electric off, which I never did. So by the time I was able to come out.
Let me back up. Did you turn the electric off?
No, I didn't. I did not.
Okay.
No, it's from not being paid. the AEP turned it off themselves.
All
Which-
right.
The, bill would go to his, well, to the address of Ash Road. And
Well, the bill is in your name at Ash Road.
that is correct.
So if you didn't pay it and he didn't have any electric, that's on you. The bill's in your name, not his.
So, real quick, there should be a copy of the lease in our paperwork. And, in the lease, it is required that the renter was to put the utilities in his name, the natural gas and the electric.
Well, let me see, I couldn't find a lease.
It's, gonna be 11 pages. It probably is back in with a file from March 5th, when I filed the complaint to recover possession of property.
Oh, that's in the landlord-tenant case. Um,
And then it's gonna be on,
all right, stop.
yep,
You're not a very good landlord, Mr. Rhodes. You don't know what you're doing and you're in over your head and you're suing him for a bunch of money and you don't have a. Well, all right, you said there was no lease. There is a lease, so let me see if I
he
can
didn't
find.
go 4 months without water though, Your Honor. He went at the most 3 days straight.
All
After
right.
the well pump
Just a minute.
froze up.
Let me see if I can find your other case, like a scavenger hunt here. You're
I
the
have
plaintiff, you have the burden of proving the case. And so one of the things you should have done is provided a copy of the lease. But let's see if we can find it.
And that was a lack of my knowledge. I figured.
Stop, I didn't ask you anything. Don't just start blurting things out. Wait a minute. All right, that's 25521 LT. 25526 LT. All right, let's take a look. Just to add to the sense of frustration, there's a terrible, that's not it. Annoying buzzing in here from a bad bearing and a fan. Let me look at this again. Two five 526 LT. Yeah. Oh, all right. There's a summons and complaint. File number is 25526. It was filed in March. And you got the defendant's name misspelled as Cotherman, Sean Cotherman. Part of the reason why I couldn't find it, it's under Cotherman. Notice to quit was served in February. Defendant agreed to move by April 11th. And so let's see if I can find the lease. All right, standard lease, January 1 of 23, Ethan Rhodes and Sean Cothern. From January 1st of 23 to March 31st, 23. After that, it becomes a month-to-month lease. Rent is $225 per week, which is different than $900 a month. $25 a month late fee. No security deposit. Landlord shall provide the following utilities and services to the home. home repairs causing by natural age, furnace, water heater, well pump, sewage. It isn't clear, utilities beyond that.
Page
Home
9.
repairs caused by natural age, furnace, water heater, well pump, sewage. Doesn't have to do with about the electricity. So I gotta go back to the other case that we're supposed to be in.
Page 9 of that lease, at the end where we sign it, there is a spot for the utilities of the tenant.
All right, let me go back to that. Maybe I didn't scroll down far enough. Here it is, additional terms and conditions. Tenant is to keep utilities active and paid. Also to internet is on them.
The TV and handwriting.
Signed by Ethan Rhodes and Sean Cothran. Tenant is to keep utilities paid and also internet is on them. All right. So there's a lease which wasn't made part of this complaint, but I found it in another case. Established rents $900 a month for this little place. No security deposit. So we got that. Utilities are somewhat unclear, but it says they're supposed to be there. So they're in your name. So you didn't pay the utilities and they shut his utilities off. How long were you out without utilities?
At least my last month there. I can't remember the exact amount.
That means no electricity.
Yes.
Now, despite what you said, the water wasn't out for months at a time. It was on and off sporadically, correctly?
It was literally, he would fix it, and then literally the next day it was broken again.
So
I have many witnesses that could attest to this too, because I did bring people over to see his handiwork and see that I had no power and water.
The trial is now.
Yeah.
So, all right, so no, from January to when you move, so the big question is, why the hell didn't you move out of there? You're in there in the middle of winter, no water, no heat.
I'm not, let me put this honestly, I'm not financially secure. Like I'm just now getting a pay raise where I can sustain where I live now. So I had to save up. That 2 months that he's asking for back is the only reason I was able to move out. I told him that I'm keeping the money, and because I don't have running water. I don't have running water. I had natural gas in my house.
Right. There's a way to do that, which is to pay the money into escrow, but I've only seen any do it right about once. So from January till April, how many days do you think you had no water?
Was that 90 days? I think I had running water in that 90 days, maybe 15 days of the 90 days.
And how many days were you without power?
The last month.
So from like March 15th to April 15th?
No, like March 1st to April 1st. I moved out April 1st. I started moving into my new apartment the 29th of March.
All right.
Because I had to get out of there because it was costing me too much. I bought I bought a gas powered generator so I could have power for me and my girlfriend.
Yeah, you can't do that. That's a good way to get suffocated. All right, so the place was left in pretty bad shape according to the photographs. And he claims several $100 in trips to the dump.
Which I have
And
no problem paying a cleaning fee. I don't have any issue with that.
all right, now you also didn't pay the utilities, but you're saying he ran your utilities up by running electric equipment at your property, but yet he was trying to unthaw your pipes so you could have water.
Yes.
So he wasn't doing it maliciously. He was doing it to try to get power. So
Yes, I do understand that, but during that time I ever lived there, the most my power bill ever got up to, and that it was like a 600 square foot house, was the max I ever had it at was $200 a month.
okay. Mr. Rhodes, what else would you like me to know?
Just like to contest about the 3 months with no water. That was false. He was true about having to go out every other day and restart the pump. It would trip out. But, there was a space heater in the well room, the well house, that would, keep the well house warm. But at the same time, it being an old house, a little crickety, cause the first year we didn't have any problems. We gotta leave the spigot on, just a little trickle of water so it doesn't freeze when it gets down to negative temperatures. The lines had froze. I come out, hook up a space heater that's ran by propane and just an extension cord to thaw the house out. As far as going without water for 3 months or even a total of the 15 days that he said, that's not true. The most he went was 3 days. I will admit that. I had a family emergency in Detroit when the pump froze from the well house freezing. Other than that, I mean, if anytime he had a water issue, I was right out there that day when I got out of my normal working job. And,
All right, so you're saying he wasn't 75 days with no water.
no,
He said it started before November, so it'd be more than that, like 100 or more days with no water.
no,
You
and I'm
disagree
not,
with that?
I do disagree with that. I will admit, he would have to go out to the well house and reset the pressure switch to turn the pump back on, because I had issues with the water and the bladder tank I had to replace. I mean, it was always the work in progress. I never like shunned him or put him on the back burner. I mean, I was at my normal 8-hour job when I get out, acquired, and come out and work with him. Then there was a time he said that I was not allowed on the premises with him not being at home, so I'd have to wait till he gets out of work at 6 o'clock at night. We were always in agreement with everything. There was never no, like, well, it's gonna be this way or it's gonna be that way. It was, if you had an issue, okay, I got out of work today, I'll be out there to address it. It was never like, I'm not coming, you have to go without. And then same with electric bill, which I know I sent here, but I could always get the shut off notice, but he went 2 weeks most without any electric.
Okay,
But the bill
All
was
right.
sent to that address.
I'm gonna split the rent in half, $900 for 1 month of rent. I'm gonna split the electric in half. It was quite a bit. Maybe I'll cut it in more than half. The electric was $1,800. He said it was $200 a month. That would be December to January to February to March to April, 4 months. I'll load $800 for electric. I will allow the entire cleanup cost. Keep losing my place, which is $340. That's $2,040, I think. Was 2,040. Plus the court costs of 86, 127.42, and $20, some sort of service fee, 106 plus 127.42. $133.42, $233.42. So it's a lot. $2,273.42, which is a little more than half of what the plaintiff had asked for. All right, Mr. Codron, can you pay some sort of monthly installment on that?
What would need to be the monthly installment?
I would ask for $150 per month.
Is that over a 2-year payment plan or no?
Yes,
When would the payments start?
October 15th.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Well, you'd rather have that than have them garnish your wages. $150 per month, starting October 15th.
I would,
Mr. Codron, are you at Bacon Avenue?
yes,
All right. Mr. Rhodes, you're still at Rock River Avenue?
Correct.
All right, Mr. Codron, you had a question?
no, nothing. It's not important.
There's my finding, $2,040 for the plaintiff. Court cost of $233.42 for a total of $2,273.42 payable at $150 per month, starting October 15th. All right, you're both free to go. I'll send you a copy of that judgment. Make the payment directly to Mr. Rhodes at his address. My suggestion would you use a certified check or money order. All right.
I don't trust them. I'll send it and a copy.
All right, you're both good to go. Miss Morton, Mr. Mr. Widener didn't show up for his own party. I was aware of this. Mr. Widener was over there on River Road, and the house was falling apart, and he claimed some story about he was gonna pull the house off of there on a platform, or I never knew what it was, but he finally got removed from there by the township.
Yeah.
Anyway, he isn't here, so I find default dismissal, plaintiff fails to appear. What's the status of this property now?
This is something completely different. So before Scott ended up over on River Road, I don't know if you remember last year, I incurred quite a few fines and fees. And it was
Yes.
due to, yep, that was due to Mr. Widener. And then he moved the items that were on my property. Basically, I kept asking him to move, and he told me just put it on the street. So I did move it onto the street. I did not damage anything, but it wasn't even Scott's property. The stuff that he has listed in this lawsuit, the dog doesn't belong to him. The camper that he was suing me for does not belong to him. The food that he's saying he lost in the freezer, he was running an an extension cord to my home, and I had unplugged it numerous times.
All right. Well, he isn't even here to argue about it, so the judgment is 0.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. But
Are you
those
still on
items,
12th? You're
yeah,
still on 12th Street?
yes, sir.
All right. You're good to go.
All right, thank you.